Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
This is an urgent alert to anyone eligible to vote. Whether you vote is a matter of public record. Your friends, your family, your boss, anyone can check and see if you voted this year. Who you vote for is private. Whether you vote is not, and will be on your record forever. Vote by mail, vote early in person, or on November 5th. Don't get caught skipping this important task.
Paid for by Story Network Foundation.
The #1 selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome, sunshine, to another wonderful episode of Don't Blame Me, an advice podcast where we give you advice because we're amazing and we're so sweet.
Rainbow. So,
welcome to Sunshine and Rainbow. And no, of course, this is not a cult.
oh, I meant to talk about this, but I forgot. Now that you brought up cult, it reminded me. Did you see those people that got kicked out of the Disney exclusive club? I know what it's called, but I just like to call it Pin 15.
Yep.
But one of the
69.
members was found sleeping drunk on a park bench outside. And so him and his wife got kicked out of Pin 15. And so
outside? Why would you get kicked out if you were sleeping outside?
They were still in the park, but outside the club.
Oh, okay.
He claims he was on medication, but he smelled like alcohol. And he said he had like a migraine and was just lying down, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
But they got kicked out, and then they like tried for a while to get back in, and they were mad.
While they were still drunk? They were plotting?
No.
They slept it off, and then they said, we would like to come back to this establishment because we're hitting from outside of the club when we can't even get in.
Right. And so they kept trying, and then Disney was just like, no. And so then they sued Disney, and they started calling it a cult. And it was like, if it's so much a cult, why were you trying? And then you got mad, and now you're suing them.
If you're looking for another cult that will take your money, might I interest you in Scientology?
Right. But they've been sharing all the secrets that what goes on in there.
Like food and beverages?
Yeah. It's not even anything exciting.
No, you got kicked out for being drunk. I don't think there's any secrets in there that are worth sharing at that point. That's so
They were
weird.
like, 1 week or during Thanksgiving, Tom Hanks shut it down so his family could have Thanksgiving dinner. Okay?
Gasp. Okay.
You get to use the same bathroom that Walt Disney used. Disgusting. That bathroom
I don't want to think about that. Redo that shit. Tell me you have a new toilet seat. That's nasty.
Right.
Some people should say less, but
unless y'all are talking about orgies that are happening in there, then that's what I want to hear.
And I'd be even more surprised because why'd you get kicked out then?
Right.
If they were if they were encouraging debaucherous shenanigans, sleeping on a bench is not an evictable offense then.
Mm.
Well, that's fun. Welcome to the cult of Disney. We are not a subsidiary of that. Though, we could always be bought.
Yeah.
For a price.
I'm here.
Same.
ABC, Hulu. We've got show ideas.
R.I.P. Freeform, R.I.P.
Freeform's gone?
No, sorry. R.I.P. ABC Family.
Okay.
We still love Freeform.
I was about to say. ABC Family hasn't even always been ABC Family. I mean, it's still not.
I think it was only ABC Family for a short period of time.
It was Fox Family, and then before that it was Family, just Family Channel. A bunch of corny stuff happening then.
Yeah, I would say that ABC Family was, and maybe I don't watch enough Freeform, but I think ABC Family, that era was kind of like the most raunchy and like the most like, oh, hot day. Okay, this is a lot because shit happened.
It's literally the same thing. They just changed the name to Freeform.
Because they were like, this is somewhat misleading that also and family implied here. And I go, this is somewhat misleading. We're having teenagers fuck. Okay, let's not.
Yeah, I mean, there was an episode of, which this is when I tuned out because I don't like this particular character, but of Grownish. Junior's just dropped his drawers and was railing a girl in the public bathroom. And I said,
thank you.
Now I'm done with this show because I remember when this was a little boy on Blackish.
That to me, I'm actually not okay with.
Yeah.
I'm like not okay with that.
No.
Like sometimes everybody's stories don't matter. I actually don't need to know that story.
Yeah.
When I've seen you as a child.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like, it's actually truly, strictly none of my business.
Right. And that's when I checked out because I stuck around for Zoe even though I found her annoying, but I liked everybody else that was there. And that was after he had already, because him and Hallie of Chloe and Hallie, they were together on the show too, and he was sucking on her toes.
Oh, no.
But he wasn't a full-time cast member at that point.
It's doing a lot for a guest star.
Yeah. Well, because it also crossed over with Blackish. So that's why.
Yeah. No. I'm good. I'm good. I'm so good.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to give you advice, and that's our advice to ABC Family, aka Freeform. So this is a call-in advice podcast. So if you want to call in, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meganpodcast@gmail.com. And you can also send us a DM to our Instagram. And for the written version, we ask that you keep it under 300 words. For the audio recording version, keep it under 3 minutes. Write everything down, practice saying it out loud a few times, time it all out. And then for all of them, you'd be 18 or over, have your parents' permission. And we ask that you include your age. You could include your pronouns if you would like. And give us as much detail as possible because we want to give you good advice. If we give bad advice, it's either funny or unintentional. But just help us out. Help us help you. And we're also on Patreon if you want to watch the video version and see me fussing with my hair.
You had the whole hot girl in a movie moment.
Well, no, hold on.
You got to throw it a little bit. Oh, put the glasses back on. Yes.
Oh,
okay.
Who, me? No, I'm just like a lowly nerd. I'm just a girl. I'm worried about being valedictorian. I'm not even thinking about prom. Girls like me don't get asked to prom. What are you doing?
She's hot. Oh my God.
Oh my God, they don't even recognize me. Wow, this is actually who I've been deep down all along. I'm just blind and my neck is sweaty. Wow. Thank you. You can find my representatives anywhere, and I am free and available. So, shall we? Well, I guess we should introduce ourselves. What's your name?
My name is Melissa Diamond Monts. I hail from the great state of California, originally from Arkansas. And I'm so excited to be here today to share my insight, my thoughts, and to judge. And who are you?
I'm Megan. I'm mostly just excited to judge. And I'm from California and I will never leave unless I go bankrupt.
Or you book a show in Canada or Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. Or I move
or Jersey.
For a job.
They just announced they're doing big tax cuts.
In Jersey?
Yes.
Hold up. Here's the thing. Because I know I've talked shit before, but Jersey farm towns, kind of the vibe.
So what happened is that most of the people that work on film sets in New York, are commuting in from Jersey. And Jersey was like, hold on, why don't we just keep our people here and we'll start giving tax cuts?
California, did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Hello. We could do that.
Sign in law, no more AI.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which means that he's going to make a big swing to do something horrible in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and the whole thing just looked like, I go, none of this looks real. This looks like a stage prop. Like, I just feel like we're on a set. And like, it was just so odd. And I could like tell in her eyes that Fran Drescher was like, I'm attracted to this man, but I hate him. And I went, Fran, tell us what you're about. Because it did not seem like she was in, it didn't seem like a totally pleasant encounter. And I was like, whose side am I on? Because I do flip-flop on both of you constantly.
Yeah. But also, he looks very similar to her ex-husband, gay husband, who she's also still best friends with, and they go everywhere together.
Goals.
So, I mean, they look similar. She's like, here's the straight version.
Okay. Love that for him and her.
Yeah.
So I always said about Whitney on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, you can say what you want, but I'm going to pick her husband and that marriage over a lot of the other ones. Is he straight? And at that point, still better than a lot of those men.
Yep. I saw somebody on TikTok. They live here in LA, and he's like actively looking for a lavender marriage.
First of all, it's a far more beneficial tax-wise than just a roommate. Yep. And, you know, sometimes romantic partners can be annoying. Like, right. I so see it.
You can financially be stable and then go rail whoever you want.
Yeah. And like be with someone who like you love deeply as a person who you never get sick of.
Yep.
And who's not going to be like poking your back with a boner, being like, you know what I mean? Like there's none.
You might occasionally make out, but that's it.
Yeah. That's fun. I love that for people.
All right. Well, let's get in the first one. This is mostly write-in, so make sure your mouth is lubricated.
Will do.
Good morning, Eminem. I hope you're having a great week. I am calling in for advice on a nosy neighbor. I'm 29 and use she, her pronouns.
About me?
It might be about me formally. I recently purchased and began renovating my first house. I love the neighborhood. Everyone is so friendly. My neighbor directly to the right of me is so nosy. I bought the house with my twin sister, not you. I know how you feel about twins.
No, I'm so sorry. I've got a feeling I'm not going to like where this is going.
Neither of us is married or in a serious relationship, so we decided to buy a fixer-upper and sell it for a profit in the future.
Yep. Oof. There we go.
So we are not identical, but you can definitely still tell we're sisters. Let's call him Mr. Chuck. When Mr. Chuck came over the first day to welcome us to the neighborhood, he said, "Oh, didn't think I'd live to see the day I'd have lesbian neighbors." My jaw hit the floor. I was like, we're twins. And then he said, "What a relief. I saw the resemblance and was thinking kissing cousins." I kid you not. We laughed it off because that shit was hilarious.
That is funny.
Now he makes a habit to pop over anytime he feels like it. He asks about the projects we're working on, offers his own ideas and techniques, and all he's harmless, just a bored old man. But I also am an introvert, and sometimes when I'm out in the shed, I don't want to shoot the shit with Mr. Chuck. I just want to listen to my audiobook and work on my projects. How do I politely tell him to leave me alone? Thanks in advance.
You don't. You're flipping a house. You're flipping a house for profit. You don't. You do your work and you sell it and you make money. And that's like, I also don't know what the point of it is, because it's a problem if you're going to live there and you have to maintain a relationship. But like, this is all temporary.
Yeah. Agree. But they're not doing like a flip, because flippers, they try to flip it before they have to pay their first mortgage. So then.
Yeah. There's like a scale of that. But I mean, you said that
in the future, that was the whole point of you buying this house.
Yeah. You're working on projects. So I'm assuming you are renovating the home yourself. I don't know if you're a licensed contractor.
Correct. Yeah, agree with that. But to the next level, I had a very nosy neighbor who would show up to my door would be
Watch you from
looking
her
at her
fucking
window
curtains.
when I was coming in, would be like, oh, you have a lot of friends. And someone
She
was
did
like,
not.
and someone was like, well, maybe she was just lonely. And I said, no, her family was there all the time, like all the time. She had grandchildren, her grown children who were older than me. They were always over. So it wasn't that she was lonely. She was just nosy. Even when I moved downstairs and then I was directly next door to her, she was also to my right. When I first moved in, keep in mind, this was during peak COVID, pre-vaccine.
Oh, yeah.
And I was moving downstairs. She just walks inside, no mask on. Talking about, I just wanted to look around and see what it looked like in here. Ma'am, no.
Ma'am, you have
And
30
so,
minutes.
The thing is, I just dealt with it. I think it's different when it's a man versus a woman, but I just dealt with it because I was like, if I go missing, then she knows where I am.
And you know, in those movies, it's always that little quirky old lady who says she's got all the fucking info. She can give you your friend's license plate numbers at that point.
She was telling me about everybody all the time. And I was like, what are you telling people about me?
I know, I wonder that too. Because like we gossip with our neighbors and I'm like, so what are you guys saying about us?
Yeah. I would just make it so when you're doing your projects, do you have on headphones? Make it so you have headphones that cover your whole freaking ear, like not inside your ear. So then, and blast it and just ignore him. Pretend like you don't hear him. Or
like hang up like a plastic sheet or a sign that says like,
no trespassing.
Hazardous, don't come in, or, something like that. So, but yeah, I mean, as someone who like has neighbors now where we plan to be here for a long time, the relationships, like how you kind of go about it, like how you talk to people or whatever, like you have to like kind of think it through. But, maybe you get a dog that's unfriendly.
Yeah.
And so doesn't want to come up to that. But there's not really a polite way to tell someone to like leave you the fuck alone.
Yeah. Especially you don't want to create a hostile environment where you stay.
And it gets a lot worse then. Like this kind of thing might be annoying, but it's about like cutting it short and just being like, oh, sorry, I've got a work phone call I've got to hop onto.
Yeah.
Or like, I got to get back to this. Like just finding ways to cut the interaction short. But finding a way to remove the interactions from happening as a whole is only going to happen if like he suddenly fucking hates you, which is a much worse situation to be in.
Yeah. I mean, when I first moved in here, there was one of my neighbors that I thought was very annoying, but then I actually talked to him and I was like, oh, I actually like you. And now we're cool. So
yeah, that happens. Like, it's just, you got to let people, if you're too closed off on all of it, like, there's like a quote from another creator. I'm going to butcher it. And I don't know who said it, but it was like how people will call themselves community organizers and not even speak to their roommates.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you want to have a community and like benefit from that, like you have to be an active participant in that and not like in a pre-established community, but also being able to like create community with the people that you're surrounded by. And you can have like shitty neighbors, but like you don't ever want to piss them off in a place in a way that's merited. Like I've pissed neighbors off in ways that are like completely not merited at all, but like we vent with the other neighbors about that and like how like silly it is and like it's not that deep or serious. But I think if we came back at it with fire, to the fire that he has created that is completely unwarranted, that we're like, it's not chill. It like doesn't diminish the problem at hand. It just makes it worse.
Yep. All right. Well, good luck. Think about staying in your home for a while.
Yeah.
And we're going to take a break. And when we get back, we'll get into the rest.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Who you vote for is private. But everyone will know if you voted or not. It's a matter of public record. And when this election is decided by a handful of votes in your neighborhood, you don't want your friends and family to know you let them down. Voting is easy. Make a plan to vote by mail, vote early in person, or on November 5th. Make sure people know you did your civic duty.
Paid for by Story Network Foundation.
All right, we're back.
And it's time for the next. Hey, Eminem, I've been going back and forth on cutting my brother off for a long time, and I think I've reached my breaking point. I feel absolutely awful that it has come to this, but he has changed beyond repair, in my opinion. My brother and I are only a year apart. He's 21, he, him, and I'm 22, he, him. We lived in California for most of our lives. Then 15 and 16 years old, we moved to Alabama. Major culture shock. My parents tried to keep us still set in the same standards we'd been raised, but my brother started changing. He began hanging out with a bad crowd and was easily influenced. I don't blame him at all. When we moved, we both found our quote-unquote cliques. He'd make offhanded comments from time to time, but for the most part, it was harmless. This all changed when election year rolled around. He is loud in his Trump support. He has turned into a full-blown racist. The shy, fun-loving kid who moved here has been replaced by a MAGA soldier. I don't know how else to describe it. All of our outside family has shunned him. He's been fired from his job over people calling him out on his shit on social media and then contacting them. Let me tell you, where we live, it is very hard to get a loud Trump supporter fired. So yeah, it is that bad. I tried to stick it out, but I can't. I'm exhausted and it's only getting worse. How do I go about cutting him off? Is this the right choice? I've tried talking some sense into him, but it's been absolutely useless. I'm not saying supporting one candidate over another is the issue. It's the way that he's chosen to support Trump has cost him so much already. Well, you know, at this point, I would not only cut contact, I might change my last name. Because, like, yeah, if you were getting fired from your job for being a Trump supporter in Alabama, I think the feds will be knocking at your door.
Yeah, if it's so bad that he's made comments online where people have contacted his employers to get him fired, and he did get fired, he is a liability.
You're never going to know I was related to this man ever. Ever.
Liability.
Yeah, so cut him off and change your name. And you're not wrong at all. Like, it's exhausting to do this. And the whole thing that, like, people are like, you shouldn't cut people off who have, like, differing opinions and views or whatever. And, like, I've said this so many times, is that, like, I will engage in discourse with people. And the first thing I'll say is, like, are you open to changing your opinion about this? And if it's a no, why am I wasting my breath? Like, there is not any use there. And you found that that's what's happening for him. And once you get in this deep, to me, this is a mental health problem, but it's not your mental health problem.
Yeah, cutting them off is the thing to do. Also, keep in mind, a lot of former Trump supporters have talked about it as, like, when you get out, it's very much like deprogramming, like you've been in a cult, because it is a cult. So I wouldn't say that he's a complete lost cause right now because he is young. But that also might be, I take that back, because that also might be because he's been ingrained in it for 5+ years now. But, you know, if you think that there's some coming back, then stay in contact. But it seems like there's not at all. And it might bounce back on you too, to the point where people are like, well, you're associated with this person.
That's what I would be worried about the most, is like how puts anything for you in question. Because let's say he does something fucking crazy and the feds show up and they question him, and then they show up to your work and they question you, and I don't know what the employment style, at will, whatever that is there. I don't know if that's grounds for your company being like, hey, this is bad look for us, even though we know that that's not what you align with. So that's just bad. But yeah, I also think your parting words can just be like, you are my brother. I care about you so deeply, which is why I cannot maintain a relationship with you, because this hurts me when anyone does this. It hurts me even more when it's coming from you. It's hurting me so much coming from you. And I want you to know that the door is always open. I will never say I told you so. I will never I'm never going to come for you that. If you get to a point where you feel you're in too deep, if you get to a point where you change your views and change your opinion and you want help in getting out of that, call me. My door's always open for that. But if it's not that, I can't maintain this relationship.
Yeah. And then also keep in mind, Tim Walz' brother is a Trump supporter. Minnie Kaling, who hosted the DNC, her brother is also a Trump supporter. And neither of those people talk to their siblings. So Linda Carter, the original Wonder Woman, her sister is running for a council office and is a hardcore Trump supporter. And she has come out and Linda Carter has come out and endorsed the other candidate. So,
yeah, it's just I do kind of believe that if you are going to have alienating, dangerous, I don't know if it's the right term to call them antisocial views, but in the sense of individualistic, anti-community, any of those things, all of that, I don't think you should benefit from the way that you get to just say all of these horrible things and then have them not reflect on you as a person and then influence your personal relationships. I just don't think that makes any sense whatsoever, because we're not talking about how you think we should pay for education and taxes. It's about if you think certain people are intrinsically hold more value in society than others. It just becomes a whole other aspect that I don't think that it can be a shock to anyone who is supporting that it would make people change how they view them and change their relationships.
We can argue over if chocolate cake or vanilla cake is better, but we cannot argue over ethics this.
Or who gets cake. No one. It's just all for me and nobody else. And that's what's fair. Because I'm white or I'm straight, I'm cis, whatever that is. It's a whole fucking other ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine how difficult it is to deal with this. And knowing that I'm sure your parents, even then when they moved to Alabama, that was already a red state. So there was a little bit of fear there. But I can feel that it must have been hard for them to imagine that this is what the result would have been. But look at you. You're doing great.
You listen to this podcast. Big green flag.
Huge green flag. Brother definitely doesn't.
All right, next one. Hey, Meghan and Melisa, longtime listener, and I've called in a few times. I am wondering when it is time to leave a serious relationship. I am 30 and use she, her pronouns. My boyfriend and I have been together 10 years, lived together 5. I feel like I am his wife in everything but name, and that's not okay with me. We used to talk about marriage all the time. Now it doesn't come up as often. We had a checklist of things we needed to accomplish first before getting married, and all those boxes have been checked. Yet my ring finger remains bare. I don't doubt he loves me or I him, but I know that marriage is endgame for me. I want to be a wife, not a living girlfriend. The problem is I don't know how to say this without sounding like a whiny, entitled bitch. Any advice would be great. Thank you and love the pod.
Buy some suitcases, get some cardboard boxes, pack your shit and go.
I don't think expressing what you want in life is being an entitled, whiny bitch. You're saying what you want. You made a list. It's been checked. He knew what you want. It's been 10 years. You say that you love him. He loves you. This was a hard line for you. It was a deal breaker and he's broken the deal. So get out.
Yeah. I don't think you can have a conversation without sounding like a whiny bitch, because I don't think you need to have this conversation. This conversation has already been had. Like Melissa said, the deal, the deal was not met. So therefore, breaker, walk away. Like this, even if at any point you get to the point in a relationship where you're like, I don't want to bring up wanting commitment with marriage without sounding whiny, you're already far gone. If that's like what your mind assigns that kind of intention or emotion behind it, like the relationship is already fucking done. Because unless you have been spending this whole time going like, I don't want to get married, I really don't want to get married, I don't want to get married, and then you've changed your mind and you have to be like, I have to let him know that after 10 years of telling him I never want to get married under any circumstance, now I want to tell him I want to get married. How do I do that? That's the only time that it's like, hey, let me revisit the thing that we've talked about a bazillion fucking times to remind you, because he knows. And it's just, if the longer you can sit around and wait, it's going to feel like a sunk cost. And it's like, oh, I'll just stick it out and stay. No. Like, this is just, it shouldn't even be a conversation at this point. The conversation has already been had. You already checked off the list, and now this is not happening. So I don't know. For me, I wouldn't even want to be like, so is that going to happen or what? Like, I don't think that I would even want to ask to wait around any longer.
I would say it just because maybe he is planning an engagement. Chances are he's not. But I would just say, hey, I'm ready to get married now. And then if he's like, actually, I've changed my mind, or we don't need to do this anymore, then that's when to leave.
That's a good point. Like, when did you finish checking off the list? Like, if you finished checking it off 6 months ago, but if you checked it off 3 years ago and like there hasn't been because I also think like if you've been together for this long, I hope you discuss finances with each other. So if like if he like lost his job and there was something like that, I do think that should be a conversation of like, hey, I know we said that this was coming, but because of our financial situation, like I'm going to need to reallocate. And so that, but again, like you should never have to bear the responsibility that there will be no conversation had unless you are the one bringing it up. Like, and like Mats and I aren't even married yet, but he started his new job and he was like, got his health benefits. And he was like, yeah, I'm seeing if I can put you on them. And I was like, we're not married yet. And he was like, well, I already filed for domestic partnership. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, I didn't have to ask. Like, it was none of that. It was him going like, hey, I know how much you pay for insurance every month. If I add you onto mine, it's going to be like exponentially cheaper. Let's figure this out. Like, here's what I've done to do this. But like, to chase it down, to me, there's no higher disrespect than a man who knows how I feel, what I want, and actively chooses to do something that hurts me. That is like diabolical, fucked up shit. Because like, even people I hate, I'm not going to, and no, unless it's someone I hate, I'm not going to go out of my way to conduct myself or to make choices that I know that that are specifically designed to piss them off or to hurt them, that do nothing to benefit me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, that is like the highest level of disrespect to me. You deserve better.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we get back, we'll get into more.
This episode is brought to you by Opill, the first over-the-counter daily birth control pill available in the U.S. Opill is FDA approved, full prescription strength, and estrogen-free. Plus, there's no prescription needed. Finally, the days of needing a prescription for birth control are over. Opill is available online and at most major retailers. Take control of your health and reproductive journey with Opill. Birth control in your control. Use code BIRTHCONTROL for 25% off your first month of Opill at Opill.com.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouthwatering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
And we are back, and it's time for the next. Hey, Melissa and Megan, I hope y'all are doing well. With the holidays rolling in, what holiday?
Don't get me fucking started on this shit.
Wait, what holiday?
They're talking about the holidays as in Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Babe, it's September.
It's not, well, now I believe it is officially fall, but continue. We don't know what they're talking about. Maybe it's something where they have to plan on traveling
Arbor
or
Day.
something.
Yeah. With the holidays rolling in, I'm trying to figure out how couples decide whose family's house to visit. This is my first time in a serious relationship around the holiday. I'm 24 and use she, her pronouns. I went to college clear across the country from my hometown. Afterwards, I got hired at a job in the same city and never left. My boyfriend did the exact same thing, but different cities. We met in college, so neither of us is anywhere near home and our homes aren't near each other. We're trying to figure out how to navigate the holidays. We live with each other now and feel like this year we do the holidays as a couple. How do couples decide where they go for what holiday? This may sound a little silly, but I'm genuinely curious. We're being pulled in different directions by both families, so we know we need to decide soon. Plus, ticket prices are not getting any cheaper. Any advice would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, well,
we're talking about
makes
okay,
sense
this is a smart financial decision.
In context, y'all are living together, you are planning, and you're trying to save money before tickets get too expensive. I would focus in on splitting the two. If you celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving, splitting that, and then seeing if somebody has a specific tradition at a specific holiday that is more important to them. And then deciding that way. And then knowing like next year, let's switch it where we go to my family's house for Thanksgiving and your family's house for Christmas. And you just keep going back and forth. If you want to have kids, things get a little bit more complicated then.
And then you have people celebrating the holidays at your house.
Yeah. Yeah. So then you invite them then. We were always fucking traveling though. But like my grandparents, both sides lived in the same vicinity, but we did not live there.
Yeah.
We lived far away. But even then it was like, who are we still going to eat the meal?
Yeah.
It's still complicated. But it was just flipping back and forth. And then when we got to like high school age, or not even high school, say middle school age, I was in middle school, they weren't. And I was just like, I don't feel like going anywhere. Can't people just come to us?
Yeah. It's usually that age where it's like you've a kid, first kid who reaches middle school that says, I'm not getting in that fucking car.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, actually guys, come over here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't have personal experience with this because I will say my in-laws lucked the fuck out.
Yeah.
They have me an orphan. And then my sister-in-law is Jewish. And so holiday-wise, Christmas has always been, we've done like Colorado or whatever. And then for Thanksgiving, because we don't live in state, we just don't, no one goes anywhere for Thanksgiving. So like if someone wants to come for Thanksgiving, usually my sister-in-law, her parents will come in around Thanksgiving and like we'll go over there. So we usually have dinner on Thanksgiving with my sister-in-law's parents, who I love to death. Like I love them so much. They're great.
And then last year, the baby was brand new. So like, didn't go anywhere.
No. And when our nephew was born, he was born right before Thanksgiving too. They're both like fall before Thanksgiving babies. But the thing that I think is it should be equally beneficial and equally terrible for both people. Like, I think if there is one of your parents who like doesn't give a shit about Thanksgiving, I don't think that that's the one who should automatically get Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it should be a sacrifice and a win for both of you. Because if one of you has to wildly disappoint your family and then the other one goes, well, this is an easy pick, I'll just pick this one. And then it's all whatever. That I don't think is fair. Like, I think it needs to be both a benefit and a sacrifice for both of you. And I do think that it's also a really great time to see how your partner handles conflict resolution when it comes to like your relationship as a unit and boundaries with family. So that's helpful. But also, you didn't say how long you were dating. You met in college. So if you're 24, right?
Yeah, but they lived together.
Yeah. But the other thing I was going to say, though, is that like, if you want to spend the holidays together, go for it. Totally do that. That's great. I also know that like Matz's parents, until they had kids, they did like holidays with their families separately because they both like were into that. And then when they had kids, they like stayed where they were when they had like young little kids. And then when they got older, they would like travel and see people and do all that kind of stuff. But, you know, if you both have like such strong ties and affinities to your traditions in that way, I would also have a conversation beforehand, because you know that if you then bring a partner with you to your holiday, they're not just a bystander. You have to include them. And so the traditions that you don't have traditions with your partner for the holidays, and like just completely assimilating into their family's traditions will always make them feel, and you, when you're on the other side of it, will make you feel like an outsider. You both want to look forward to spending the holidays where you do. And so I think establishing new traditions is a great way. And if you are like both super steadfast and like stubborn about how you want to celebrate it, I would celebrate it separately then for a while, because I think it will just build animosity until you're ready to kind of create your own traditions as like a family.
Yeah. Like even my brother-in-law, his family was like a pajama family, and we're a dress up family for holidays. And that was something that we adjusted to, where like we'll do pajamas for opening presents, but then we change for dinner. So like that's the great thing about tradition, and then incorporating new people into your family is that then traditions evolve too.
Totally. Matz's family was like an open presents on Christmas Eve kind of person. And I, 2 or 3 Christmases in a row, fell asleep while we were opening presents. Not on purpose, obviously, but I'm in like tights and booties and like a whole like nice outfit, falling asleep because we would fly in pretty quickly, like right before the holiday. And it like, you know, we did a couple of like, let's push it. And like, it was kind of like, I don't know about the tradition. And Mats is like, she can't fucking stay awake. Like I'm not going to just keep waking her up when it's like, and they have like a whole round of how they do it. And when my sister-in-law was pregnant, I was like, girl, you are pregnant. I fall asleep. Let's do it in the morning. And then when the kids were born, we changed the tradition to the morning, and like, you know, took a little bit of like getting used to for everybody else, but like it's much more enjoyable now. And there's like a new tradition, and there's like a new growth of all of that. And then like, you know, we used to spend it specifically just in Denver. And I had always said, I'm like, let's go to the mountain house. Let's go to the mountain house. And then Matz's brother and I, we banded together. And when COVID happened, we said, we can fucking do Christmas at the mountain house. And like now that's what we've done the last couple of years, even when we haven't had to. So,
but now you're like never again after that snowstorm.
No, Mats is like never again. Unfortunately, I still love it. No, we're just not driving again.
Yeah.
That's the plan. We'll be on a flight most likely. But yeah, regardless of who gets what holiday, it can't be the same holiday that it is when you're single. Like it needs to change and be different in that, and start that with the first time that you go. So that's what I would say. Yeah. And if you're not ready for that, don't start it yet.
Don't do it.
Just don't do it yet. Like it's just because I promise you, it'll just breed resentment. It'll just be an uncomfortable thing. And then it becomes a tit for tat situation. And the holidays are miserable. And then you have a Netflix rom-com minus the rom and the com.
Just sad.
Yeah.
A drama.
Exactly.
But unless it's The Bear, which is sad, but you know, they
think because Io's in it, they said it's fine. It's fine.
The fact that Jeremy Allen White won Best Actor for a comedy, and there's not even any, like, I can understand Cousin winning because he is funny.
Well, Jeremy Allen White is like, if it is a comedy, he is the straight man then.
But it's not,
but it's not a comedy.
But if it was, comedy,
he would be the straight man because he's not
he's not funny, and he should not be getting comedic awards. You're taking this away from people that are actually making us laugh and not being sad and depressed. We can be sad and depressed and laugh, but like, this is not that. Hacks, great show. That's funny, but also there are sad and depressing parts. But that show, I am laughing out loud, and they deserve to win Best Comedy.
And you know what I'll even say is also a comedy, which is contested? Fleabag. Fleabag is a dark comedy.
Yes.
But I will still laugh. But there are certain characters that if you nominated them for comedy, I would go, that doesn't make sense. But then other characters, I go, makes perfect sense.
Like Fleabag herself, the way that her delivery is, it is a comedic delivery.
It's structured like that's the whole point. Yeah, I can't with that.
Okay. That was something I get real riled up about.
It's fair.
But anyway, we're going to take another break. When we get back, we'll get into Don't Blame Them.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast. We bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
We are back. It's time for Don't Blame Them. Don't Blame Them is where a listener will call in or write in with their own thoughts and feelings from something we had aired on a previous episode. So they might have personal experience with it or professional experience, or they just have some insight that they would like to share that maybe we didn't touch on.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I am 24 years old, she, her, calling in for a Don't Blame Them from the most recent episode on September 12th, titled Take a Promotion or Try for a Baby. I'm calling about the call about dropping out of college or going to cosmetology school. I did both. I went to college, and then after that, I went to esthetician school, so a little bit different, but similar program. My school had a cosmetology program as well, so I have a little bit of insight to give. I definitely don't think the writer should drop out of school. I don't think that's the move. Having your degree is always something to fall back on. I have a business degree personally, so that helps me run my business. But a biology degree is always something to fall back on. One thing I hear a lot in cosmetology is I've been doing this for so many years and my hands stop working, and then women feel really stuck and don't know what to do. So it's always good to have a degree to fall back on, especially if you can afford it. One thing I might suggest if you want to do both and you can financially afford it is, in my state at least, cosmetology school is 1,000 hours, and our full-time program at my school only took about 3 or 4 months to complete if you did it full-time. So if you were able to potentially do that in the summertime, depending on what your school schedule looks like, or potentially, just do it in the summer and then be finishing up right at the beginning of your fall semester, that's maybe something you could plan for next summer, so you could be finished with both and ready to just go into the cosmetology field after you graduate. I really did like Meghan and Melissa's suggestion about doing hair now, making an Instagram, building that profile, because ultimately that's what's going to get you clients at the end of the day. Sometimes rough out here to get clients when you're first starting out, not going to lie. So I just think that dropping out of school would just not give you as many options in the future. And you are so young, like why close doors when you could leave them open? That's just my 2 cents. Love you. Thank you for the podcast. Hope everybody's doing well.
Awesome.
I'm so glad because anytime we give advice, especially me as a college dropout, when I give advice to stay in school kids, I'm always hoping that people who are like, oh, no, that was, yeah, relatable, did that whole thing, you should stay in school. Because like I'm talking from like, hey, I actually didn't do that, but you should do that. And it's like, that's fucking rich. So thank you for that. And wildly impressive to go from college to cosmetology school.
She did it at the same time because they had a program in her school.
That's what I'm saying though. But like, it's just like you need a break from college And then to have your break be something that is also an education. Like it's super impressive.
Yeah. Yep. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you. I hope you get lots of clients and your business is booming.
Yep. All right. Well, that's it for our show.
Yeehaw.
Sorry, that was cultural appropriation.
Well, I can't help
a Southern girl.
I can't help it. You're a church girl. I can't help it. Cowboy Carter is pulsing through my veins every moment of the day. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review. You can leave us a review on the podcast app, or you can leave an individual review for a specific episode, maybe this episode on Spotify. We also have a Patreon where we do live streams twice a month. It's a wonderful way to make friends, hang out with people. We are also there. You get to know us. And if you're worried about being like new and it's like, oh, it's like a first day of school thing, I promise you, I don't know the last time we've had a live stream without a new person there. Mm-hmm. We always have new people. Everyone is super welcoming and so nice and fun. And people are from all over the world and have met each other in real life and in person. There's a whole group chat that they want to invite us to. But it's a great way to socialize as well. We've had people who's like, I broke my arm, can't do anything. And it's like, join the live streams. I hope you're doing well. Hope your arm is healed. You know, I'm thinking I just have the image, the visual of you. Actually, I don't know if you broke your arm, but I have the visual of you in your pool with your arm up. I hope it's, I don't think you were supposed to have the cast for that long. Let us know how it's going. And yeah, it's a great place. And you can also listen to the episodes ad-free over on Patreon. And you can watch the video versions. And also, the price is going up.
This is the last week where it's going to be at the current price. Those tiers will go away. If you're already in those tiers, you will get grandmothered in. You'll be able to stay in that tier. So get in so you can be in the grandmothered in tier, because next week it's donezo. It's done.
Yeah. And we have not increased our prices
ever.
So
and these were also COVID prices.
Yeah, so we're accounting for a lot of inflation. So
like since we did this, I've been upcharged on Hulu about 3 times.
Melissa, the way that I just got that fucking email, and you know what I cannot stand is when these goddamn companies say, we're increasing our price. It's not going to be this much a month. And I go, will you remind me how much it was?
Yeah,
because I want you to put those things side by side, motherfucker.
Yep.
Perfect. We will. See you later.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye. Don't Blame Me is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production sound and editing by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Giacomo Picasso and Ryan Hunter.
Merry Christmas, everybody. My name is Eric Peterson. I'm here with my good buddy,
Danny Jordan.
And we are the co-hosts of the Christmas. Let me try that again. Merry Christmas, everybody. My name is Eric Peterson. I'm here with my good buddy,
Danny Jordan.
And we are the hosts of Christmas Countdown Show.
We're so thrilled to be bringing the merriment to you all this holiday season.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be massively merry, gigantically jolly, fantastically festive, as some people might say, Eric. We are all about alliterations, and we are all about Christmas spirit. On Christmas Countdown, we love to count down our top 10 favorite things related to the holiday season. That could be food, movies, music, everything that we all love about this massively merry good time. So wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you click that subscribe button. Eric, are you ready?
I am ready, and we hope that you are too. Merry Christmas, everybody. Let's go. It should be like, let's go, ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go Network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, are you ready for some real talk and some fantastic laughs? Join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
We're serving up 4 hilarious shows every week designed to entertain and engage and, possibly enrage you.
And Don't Blame Me, we dive deep into listeners' questions, offering advice that's funny, relatable, and real.
Whether you're dealing with relationship drama or you just need a friend's perspective, we've got you.
Then switch gears with But Am I Wrong, which is for listeners who didn't take our advice and want to know if they are the villains in the situation.
Plus, we share our hot takes on current events and present situations that we might even be wrong in our lives. Spoiler alert, we are actually quite literally never wrong.
But wait, there's more. Check out See You Next Tuesday, where we reveal the juicy results from our listener polls from But Am I Wrong?
And don't miss Fisting Friday, where we catch up, chat about pop culture, TV, and movies. It's the perfect way to kick off your weekend.
So if you're looking for a podcast that feels like a chat with your besties, listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.